Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Shamira Benson, one part of Team Benson, and it is a gloomy day because we are getting ready to get some rain in, some more rain. And if you guys don't know, I like to plant in between rains because it's just, I don't know, better. So we are gonna plant some stuff, and then we are also going to talk about gnats and figure out what to do with this bag of 60 onions that I need to find spots for. Okay, so first of all, let's go find some spaces for things. Let me tell you what I got going on, and then we're gonna find some spaces for some things. So we're not gonna drop any seeds yet today. I think I'm gonna wait until after the first rain and do that, but I have a few starts. I have a bag of 60 onions, starts that I need. I have a early girl tomato. I want to grow a lot of tomatoes this year, just to get in the freezer. So, because we're starting to run out of what we had for the last 2 years. And then I also have some sweet alyssum that I need to finally get this in the ground and in some areas. I think I'm going to focus on my hanging pots with these ones because we have a lot of hummingbirds and some bees starting to wake up, and they're looking for food. So I want to make sure I have some food for them. They typically like sweet alyssum. And then we have my chocolate mint. Guys, I found my chocolate mint. I was bummed. Bummed, I tell you, when this died, like in my garden, and I've been waiting for it to come back. It has not come back, so I am going to plant a new one, which I'm pretty excited about. If you guys haven't had chocolate mint, it's amazing. It smells amazing. It makes an amazing tea, and then I also make an extract with it so that then I can use it for like brownies and make chocolate mint brownies and different things like that. But first up, let's go plant this early girl tomato. Early girl tomatoes do really good here in Arizona, zone 9B. I've never had an issue with them. I've grown them a couple times before. They have a pretty good taste to them, but they do really well. So I think I'm gonna put it on this arch right here. My beets are below it, so we're gonna have to try and plant in between the beets. Let me go grab a shovel. So normally I'm growing like a squash or a pumpkin or something like that on this arch, but I really need to start making the best out of my garden, so I want to put a tomato right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna dig a hole. I think I'm gonna dig a hole on this side just because there's more room. And these beets are a little bit more crazy, so I'm gonna plant it on this side right here, and then I'll just keep attaching it to grow up this arch. Okay guys, I'm shoved in the corner here. Now I like to use a dry fertilizer, Dr. Earth Organics, or usually I use GardenTips, the organic one too. And I like to just put that at the base of the hole just for some additional food. I normally would put like an egg or something like that in there too, but I don't want to divert the worms from the worm bin because I'm feeding the worms right now a lot of food so that then they can produce more worm castings so that I have them during the spring. So we don't want to bring the worms from the worm bin and focus them all underneath the tomato. So I'm gonna go ahead and just use the Dr. Earths. So guys, the ground is extremely loose right here. I remember when I could not dig a hole to save my life in this area because it was just so hard, because our natural earth is just completely hard. So having this raised bed and being able to have the worms that I use, it has made a world of a difference. Now all of the worms have left so many castings in here, which is why it's so loose and why I think it's going to be a perfect spot for this tomato, because there was this pumpkin here and all of those roots for the pumpkin are all gone now. So the worms just ate them all and then left their poop. Now when you're planting a tomato, you want to plant it as deep as possible, which is why I'm trying to dig this hole really deep, but the soil is so loose that it's like falling into it. So I think that I'm going to plant it kind of at an angle like this, and let it grow up. The leaves will try and face the sun no matter what, so you can plant it like this on its side and it would still turn itself up. So I'm going to take off all of these bottom leaves to like this top 3 right here. So anything below here, I'm going to take off, and then I'm going to plant it at an angle, hopefully to right there. Okay, so we got it tucked in here. It looks good. Didn't destroy any of the beets on either side. That one looked like it almost got it, but we're good. Now the white stuff along here is mushroom spores. This bed is really, really healthy. So when it rains a lot, you'll see a lot of mushrooms that just pop up in this bed because it has all of this mushroom fungi right there. So you can always tell the health of your garden bed is if the mushrooms want to be there. Now I want to say that I planted that so deep because anywhere that the stem is exposed, roots will grow when the earth touches them. Just because tomatoes have it like that. They do that. So I want to create as much of a root ball as I can. So I just went ahead and just planted it as deep as I possibly could there. But I'm excited to see that grow. You guys growing tomatoes? Comment down below. So this is where my chocolate mint was. Poor thing. I am going to reuse this dirt in here because I think that it's perfectly fine. And I'm going to just scrape off all of the dead plants, put this in the compost bin, and then I'm going to switch it to over here so that then it's not getting covered up so much by the tomato. Okay, so I actually ended up just leaving it there. There was so much rust on that chain that I'm trying out these new rope situations that I got from the Dollar Tree that I think are kind of cool. I think they're meant for the inside of the house, but we're going to see if they work on the outside. Because if so, I think this might be better than having those rusty chains. Although these ones aren't that bad, but that one that was on there, super rusty. I want to talk fungus gnats. Now, fungus gnats are annoying and they can tear up your plants and eat the actual roots of your plants. And there's a couple of ways that I have found to kind of avoid having a lot of fungus gnats, and they all deal with watering when it's raining. Now, one of the things that you guys will find in my garden is that my garden right now is really dry because I know that it's getting ready to rain and I don't want to keep it sopping wet. So when it's sopping wet, a lot of times that leads to the gnats laying all their eggs in there and the mosquitoes laying all their eggs. And then once the spring hits and like the rains just really keep coming in, then your garden gets soaked, and then it's hard to get rid of those gnats and those mosquitoes. So letting it dry out completely in between these big rains are going to allow the plants to get all the water that they need because they're going to soak it up through all this like rain that we're getting, but it's not going to keep your dirt sopping wet. The other thing is make sure when you get your soil now. I would get your soil now. I'd put it in a garage or the back of your car, let it heat up, get nice and hot, and then just store it somewhere in your garage. Because if you wait and you get your soil from a big box store or just any place that has it all stacked up, those fungus gnats are going to get in those bags of soil, and when you bring it home and you put it in your garden, you're going to be putting in your garden just tons and tons of fungus gnat eggs. So I'm pretty sure I'll just need the rest of this compost bag that we've been working on and just one more of these Kellogg's patio bags. This is one of my favorite brands. This is the Organics Plus. Now I got this early, that way it's separated from the bunch and it's not going to be sitting in a pile getting sopping wet with fungus gnats laying their eggs in it. Okay, so we're going to get the Sweet Alyssum, and I am going to plant some Sweet Alyssum right here with my snapdragons, and then I'm also going to just plant them in a hanging pot that I'll probably end up hanging right there. Okay, so we planted the Sweet Alyssum here next to our regular mint. We got our chocolate mint there. We planted it here in between some snapdragons, and then right here above our worm bin. Okay, I can't believe it's already going so dark. Guys, it's only like 3:30, so it's not even like that late. But I wanted to try and plant the Sweet Alyssum like in like high-low places to kind of get the bumblebees and the honeybees and the butterflies and everything that was going to be eating them kind of in different areas of the garden. I do plan to plant more flowers. I want to devote a lot of like my hanging spaces, like those pots, to just flowers, so that then I can have a lot of flowers in the garden. I'm not great at growing flowers. Usually I grow nasturtiums or a calendula. Those are my medicinal flowers that I grow, and they always tend to work. But I am excited about the yarrow flowering, because I think that that's going to help bring in, well, I always get a lot of bees back here because of the tomatoes, but it's going to help give like them more to eat. All right, let's go grab all those onions. Okay, so here's the thing about planting 60 onions in a small space. The thing is, it's a small space that's pretty much already full. So we are going to find all the little hidden spots, like this hidden spot over here. We're gonna take out this so we can have a hidden spot right there. And we are going to plant some maybe back there and some spaces over here. So I'm sitting over here getting ready to plant the onions in between the greens and the celery, but I'm looking at my tomato, my black cherry. There's so many little tomatoes hidden up in there. I need to prune that bad boy, but for right now it is growing a lot. So let's get these onions planted. Now, with all of the celery that I have been getting, or that I got in the last video, I know for sure that I'm not going to need celery as far into the summer as I would probably try and push it in order to get as much as I need it for a year's supply. So I know that celery is going to be the first thing to go. The collards I will be able to use a lot, like keep them really trimmed, so it's not going to be that big of a deal that the onions are growing in between them. Now the problem is soil nutrition and making sure that I have enough soil nutrition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some compost in this bed. So I want to make sure that I have enough food in here. So I'm going to add compost, not to bury these like collards or the celery right here, but all in between the spaces where I plan to plant the onions. I'm also going to add some more of my Dr. Earth's. I'm just going to sprinkle that about and then add the compost on top of it. Now I'm roughing up the ground around it and making sure that I'm not disturbing any of the roots of the collards or the celery. So I'm making sure that I'm really getting in between there and not too close. And now I'm just going to create a little space and plant right in between. Okay, I ended up with 15 in this bed. Now we're gonna try and see if we can plant some along with the broccoli and put some more in there. We have a long way to go before we get to 60. Okay, over here we are like guarding gold with the soil. So my idea is to put a row of onions right in the front. And so that got us up to 24. Now, once this broccoli goes, then we're gonna have okra that comes in like right behind this broccoli that is gonna grow. So what we do need to cut down though is this lemongrass. We need to use this more so that then this area gets more sun. Okay, so getting at 25 made me feel like there's a little bit of progress there going on. Now, I get the question a lot since I am a Jewish gardener. Do I follow the mitzvah, which is commandment of the way of planting your fields? And the answer is no, because I garden really tight. But that doesn't mean that I shouldn't follow the commandment. I do see why I should do that, just because it prevents any type of crossbreeding, which is something you don't want for your garden. You want to grow good, healthy heirloom seeds and not have them crossbreed or produce, you know, something that you weren't really looking for, to be able to have true to plants. But I also somewhat try to follow it by not planting things that would crossbreed together. So I try to get them a little bit separate so that then they're not crossbred. Now, in a small space like this, it doesn't really make that big of a difference because, you know, the bees are going to be going from side to side within like the matter of minutes in my garden. So I do want to follow that mitzvah when I get a bigger space, and I want to make sure that I am growing good, healthy, sustainable crops. And that is one of the ways to have the most sustainable crops, is to make sure that you're not having them crossbreeding all the time, and each time you're saving seeds, you're getting true seeds. So although it is a mitzvah I'm not following, I will be when I get more space. Those of you that are not Jewish and you don't know what I'm talking about, there are 615 commandments that we should be following as Jews. And yeah, although a lot of them I tried to follow and I'm pretty good at it, there's some of them, like the way I plant my garden, that I'm not following and I'm not great at it. So let's, you know, everything is a work in progress, but let's plant some more in some pots. Okay, I think I can get 2 rows back here, and then I can get a bunch right in here. So let's see how far we can get up to with that. Okay, so upon further inspection, my rhizome for my turmeric is still alive, which I thought it was dead in here. So I'm going to just bury this back in here, and I'm not going to plant any onions in this pot. I did add some compost, so hopefully that'll give it some food and it will grow this spring. Now, Big Nisi is not as big as her mom quite yet, Miss Eggy, so I'm added some compost and some food around her, as well as some in here, and I'm going to mix those in and then plant some more onions in both of these pots. Okay, so that got us up to 43, so I'm going to cover this and then find another spot. Okay guys, this has become a solid game of where can I tuck onions. Now I do have this little pot right here that I think that I can fit maybe like 5 in, possibly. Let's try and see. So we have 17 left. I'm going to try and fit them all in this bed right here. Now I do have spaces in between there, and then I can also take out this lettuce right here. All right, just like that, we have them all in there. Big V right there, and then some right there, and they're all planted. Okay, that was a lot. That was a lot of finding a place for 60 onions. Now, will they all grow and be really big bulbs? I don't know. We're gonna see. We're gonna try and keep them all healthy. We're gonna try and make sure our soil life is healthy, lots of compost, lots of warm tea, and we're just gonna try our best. You know, if we get half of them to grow into bulbs, that's 30 onions. If we get all 60, that's 60 onions, even if they're not huge bulbs. So I'm keeping up with all of my planting this year. This year I'm planting things on time, so I'm not fighting the heat as well as the small space. So yeah, we have lots more to come up. We have some more herbs we need to plant. We have some beans we need to plant. We're gonna let the rains come in and kind of just put a bunch of rain everywhere in my garden so that then we can plant some of the seeds. And yeah, that's it. All right, guys. Well, I hope that you had fun with me today. Hope you learned a couple things. Until next time, grow yourselves a garden, because even a small space can provide you with tons of food. Bye, guys.